going back to the dairy.
Yeah.
Because I've had this all my life. So I've been raised vegetarian, about 30 years vegetarian.
Yeah.
Vegan on and off about 25.
Yeah. Wow.
As a kid, Mum decided to turn us raw vegan.
There's not enough years there.
Yeah, no, I'm what am I? 33. 33. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm something. I'm ageless. I'm vegan.
That's right.
Doesn't matter. Yeah. So defending veganism, people are always like, "Oh, but the animal doesn't die in the dairy industry." But
yes,
it's a dirty, dark secret, isn't it? Can you tell me a bit more about that?
Yeah, some of the stories that I've heard recently from farmers, like there's a farmer I know in Coffs Harbour. Sorry, he's not a farmer anymore, but he was a dairy and cattle farmer, and he said that one of the reasons that he became vegetarian and then vegan later was because he said when he was taking his beef cattle to the slaughterhouse, he said a kilometre out on the road, the cows would start screaming, they would try and clamber out of the truck. He said there's no way in the world anyone could convince me they didn't know where they were going. You know, they could sense it. And he said I just couldn't do it anymore. And I went to high school next to a slaughterhouse, so I heard slaughter and smelt blood and all the horrors that go with that on a regular basis. But I suppose the thing about the dairy industry is that what most people don't realise is that all of the male calves are taken away. They're either fattened for beef or they're taken away and stored in the dark and fed milk and produce veal, but they're all slaughtered. All of the males are taken away and they keep a few prime bulls, but usually farmers just breed those. So when people think there's an innocence to, even if it's what they call vegetarian cheese, which doesn't have any animal rennet in it, you know, it's vegetable rennet instead, it still contains, I'm not even going to say, it's too horrific to explain what's in there, but it's not just milk, you know, and the back end of that is the death that comes, and of course the dairy cows also get slaughtered after I think they're only about 3 years old, so they're still babies really, but when they've stopped producing enough milk and they can't bear calves anymore, then off they go to the beef industry as well. So the whole thing, you can't really separate it, you know. So being vegetarian is only half a step away from just consuming a normal standard Australian or standard Western diet. You know, there's too much horror with everything that comes out of the dairy industry.
And a lot of people think that cows just produce milk on their own.
Oh, sure. Just like women do.
Just like women do.
Yeah,
so,
right.
So, can you tell me about how cows produce milk and kind of how that's similar to human women?
Well, again, this is something that most people don't realise, is that the cows are artificially inseminated, basically raped, often mechanically, so they either put a bull in with all the cows or they're mechanically raped, which is pumping, you know, sperm into the cow on a regular basis. So the cows get pregnant regularly and therefore they start lactating. But the calves are taken away sometimes within 24 hours. So the calves might get a taste of milk and then that's it, they're gone. And we see this regularly where we live in the Ballingen Valley. It's full of dairies and these poor little babies all get herded into fields on their own. And they just have to learn to eat grass. And they're sad, poor, weak-looking things. They do adapt, but their mothers are in another field. So that first period when they're separated, the mothers and the babies just cry for days on end, calling for each other and never to be repatriated. So we torture them to start with. And the only reason a female cow produces milk like a female human is because they've just given birth and the body needs to produce the sustenance required for the calf. But we take it away and think that's healthy.
Yeah, I know. Like it's funny because human women get judged and criticised for the length of time they breastfeed their own child.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like there's something wrong with a woman if she goes past a period, or before a period of the age of the
Yeah.
child. So we're weaned, and then we put them on cow breast milk.
Yeah.
And we do that up until we're 80, 90 and then die. Do you just find something extremely crazy about that?
Yeah.
And can you tell me your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that I remember hearing once that humans are the longest weaning beings on the planet, and we enforce that weaning. You know, we keep ourselves stuck like babies, you know, sucking on an udder, basically, thinking that it's even healthy, you know, and the lies that come out of the dairy industry to promote its product, its stolen product, suggests that it's actually healthy for our bones and teeth. Both of those things are a lie. That the calcium in dairy produce isn't even absorbable in humans. So most humans, especially women, this is the irony, end up with bone density problems. It causes no end of problems by the time women reach menopause as well. So the bones become more brittle because the body starts to leach calcium out of the bones in order to replace the calcium that's not in the diet. And so it's one of the most unhealthy things we can do. It's meant for baby cows. It's for their species. It's not for us. And as you said, it's not given freely either.
Okay, cool. So Dean, why are you vegan?
Well, I'd like to turn that question on its head and say, why would you not be vegan? What's stopping you becoming vegan? What would prevent anyone becoming vegan other than their thinking about it?
Just wait for that track. Well, is there anything that keeps you vegan or has kept you vegan this whole time? Because, I mean, when you became vegetarian and vegan, it wasn't like today. You couldn't just stroll down to, the city and buy every product that you can buy in the meat version or the animal version and just do the vegan version.
Yeah.
I know that when we were growing up, there's only one kind of soy milk.
Yeah.
It was brown.
Yes.
And you had to buy it in the health food store.
Yeah.
And now you walk into a supermarket and there's like rice, oat, almond, cashew, like everything.
Coconut, yeah.
So what, I guess, kept you going?
I think what kept me going as a vegan right from the start was the initial experience, because it was I was so moved by how I felt inside on the day I actually became vegan. That's what has remained the driving force in my life, really. Just that it was a deep knowing that this is the most important thing anyone can do. And that was before I even really knew the science behind all of this, how we're damaging the planet. Just on an intuitive and spiritual level, I felt like this is the way humanity needs to move. It's the only way we can bring about world peace. We cannot expect there to be peace in the world while we continue to enact violence upon other species, especially at the rate that we're doing it.
Yeah. Can we just pause for 2 seconds?
And I spoke to a girl